Hey, 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 mamas. I am so glad to be here. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. We are done with 2020. Finally, I'm like knocking my desk. I'm so excited to be done with 2020. And hopefully, this is a new year and a new exciting time. Now, if you're in the chat, let us know where you're coming in from. And let us know if you're currently a member of the Motivated Mama Society or you're here considering joining. I'd like to see what mix we have. I know I see a couple members from the society already here in the comments, which is super, super exciting because tonight is our launch party. This is our time to celebrate the fact that we are finally open to the public. And so I've been running Smart Money Mamas. For those of you who don't know me, by the way, I'm Chelsea, the founder of Smart Money Mamas and the founder of the Motivated Mama Society. And about 3 years ago in December, last couple weeks ago here, I left my job. I was a hedge fund manager in Boston for a number of years, and it was a great job in a lot of ways, certainly in a pay scale, but not in a feeding my soul kind of way. And I really wanted to make sure that I could help actual families thrive with money, that I could help women in particular really build wealth and think about changing their money story for their families for generations. And so I left that job. I started Smart Money Mamas and then was on this journey of what is the best way? What is the best way to help moms? And the Motivated Mama Society is what we've come up with after 3 years, after helping tens of thousands of women get better with their money. This is what we came down to. So let me give you the lay of the land of what we're going to do tonight. And so Lisa's considering joining. We'd love to have you. Sue said she joined at the end of the summit. Angela just joined. Angela really means she just joined because I just put her name on the wall just a minute ago. By the way, this is our welcome wall. So the rows actually go higher above there too. But these are all the people that have joined so far in 2021. So we want to see your name up on the wall. But let me give you the lay of the land of what we're doing tonight, okay? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what the Motivated Mama Society is because I know that some of you watching may not know yet. We're going to talk about how the Motivated Mama Society, why a membership, sorry. This is a membership. Motivated Mama Society is a membership. So why are we going to do a membership? Then we're going to talk about how is it different than anything else you've ever seen in money education before. And then I'm going to give you a super quick why to join the society before we do something awesome, which is we're going to bring on the entire Smart Money Mamas team to introduce themselves, tell you what we do, because a lot of what Motivated Mamas is, a lot of what Smart Money Mamas is, and if you guys have ever been around our annual summit and things like that, this is very community driven. This is very women uplifting women. And I want you to know who else you're going to be seeing around the society, around Smart Money Mamas as we go forward. So we're going to introduce them as well. So there's a lot of little things we're going to talk about throughout the day. Anna Kumo says she's on the Facebook page, not signed up yet, considering. Anna, you're nearby. I live in Mansfield, Connecticut as well. And so awesome. We have a lot of people coming in from all over the place. I love seeing this. Okay. First of all, what the heck is the Motivated Mama Society? What am I talking about here today? Because I have been developing this for well over a year, but you guys may have no idea what I'm talking about. So the Motivated Mama Society is a monthly membership community for women who want to thrive with money. And so what we do in the society is first we have foundations, which is our core course. There's 5 segments of that kind of mega course that will guide you through getting control of your mindset, figuring out where you stand, setting important goals, and then actually creating the systems and habits that work for you to make those goals happen. And so that is our amazing kind of core course. But then because money continues, money isn't something that we get to handle once and then be like, well, I'm glad with that, glad I tackled that project, check, moving on with my life. It's something we have to handle every day. The society allows ongoing education with money, right? It helps you deal with what happens when an unexpected expense comes up. What do I do when I have competing goals, when I want to save for retirement, but also I really don't want my kids to have a huge amount of student debt because I knew what that felt like and I don't want them to go through it. How do I balance these things? And so we start to answer those questions. And the way we get deep on this, the way we get continued access and continued support is that we have monthly masterclasses every single month. me or an outside expert will come and hang with us. They'll teach for about 45 to 50 minutes. Then they'll open up for Q&A for the mamas. All recordings of these masterclasses get loaded into our vault. We already have over 20 courses in the vault. We have monthly pajama party Q&As. I'm going to pause for a second because if anyone here, guys, drop in the comments if you've ever been to our annual summit, the Mamas Talk Money Summit, which is an online summit. If you've been there, you know that every night we do pajama parties. Which is when we do our Q&As. And usually I'm in my pajamas, and that's what we do for the society as well. We kind of laid back, like we get to go back to middle school, high school. We had our girls' nights. People bring drinks and snacks, and they come and hang out and ask money questions. Pajama parties are the best. And tonight I was going to be in my pajamas. I think I actually told you guys that in the email. Emily said, yes, she went to the last summit. Kim's been to a summit. Yes. I was going to wear my pajamas, but as every mom here will understand, my 4-year-old is currently asleep in our bedroom because he shares a room with our 2-year-old and they didn't want to go to sleep tonight. And so we separated them, and then I couldn't actually get my pajamas. So you're seeing me in like normal clothes, which, is typical, I guess, for a Facebook Live. But we have those pajama parties. Every other month we do a book club where we talk about a money or self-development or business and career book. We really make this a place that it can be your one-stop shop for everything related to your financial life as you go through seasons. It will grow with you. And so that's why we created the Motivated Mom Society. That's what it is. And to answer the question that we've talked a little bit about it with the you don't just do this once thing, right? Actually, let's do another question here. Post in the comments if you have ever bought a budgeting tool and didn't use it, bought any kind of personal finance course or book, finished it, and then still had no idea what you were supposed to do, or it worked for a month or so, and then you were back to your old habits and you couldn't figure out why you couldn't make this stick, right? Emily I thought you were going to say pajamas on the bottom. It's pandemic. Like, I think we're always pajamas on the bottom. I'm wearing yoga pants, so I don't know what that counts as. That feels like dressing up at this point. But if you've ever gone through this, right, you've signed up for something related to money. You bought a course, you bought a book, and you just couldn't make it work. The reason we came up with a membership is because this is something that we deal with all the time, and because it's an evolution. And the best way to succeed with money long term is to take small, consistent steps to find a system that works with you and your unique personality. Like what you're going to find if you come in the society, or if you listen to the Smart Money Mama show, which is our podcast, you're going to find 2 of my favorite words are "it depends." And then I will give you all the range of options that you have, and I will help you figure out what answer is right for you. But the answer has to be "it depends," because money is personal and money is emotional. And if you want to create your unique, thriving, successful, amazing life, then you've got to handle your money in your unique, amazing way. And so we have to get to the root of your money stories. We have to look at how your lifestyle works and how your money goals work, and then create a system that works for you. Kim says she's bought one and hasn't even gotten all the way through the course. She's trying. Michelle says, I can set up a budget, but I can't follow through. This is it. Like, this is it, Michelle. Budgeting on its face is so simple. Like, write down your expenses, spend less than you make. We could explain that to my 4-year-old, but it's not that easy. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. And there are spending triggers there that we have. There's money beliefs that keep us making old decisions. We're in these rote patterns that we've often had since childhood, and breaking out of them is not as simple as reading a book or setting up a budget and then expecting it to just work. In our world, in my world, your budget needs to be a living thing. It's got to move with the ups and downs of your life. It's got to factor in when you have some mental health days, like when you're exhausted and you're stressed out and you just can't make dinner. And we can learn how to handle that. We can say, like, listen, that is every Thursday night. That is every Thursday night in our household. We can't make dinner. And then we decide, okay, like, let's, instead of trying to jam a meal plan into Thursday night, let's find a different way. Let's say, okay, that night we're doing a freezer meal, or you know what? We're planning into our budget that night we order pizza, and it's just going to be part of our budget, and I'm not going to stress about it, and I'm not going to have any guilt. Because at the end of the day, Any mama that's in the Motivated Mama Society, all of these women on this board, there's over 100 of them now that have joined in the last, so far in 2021. These are brand new members. Anything that you do here, we want you to have a thriving life. We want you to have less stress. We want you to figure out what you want. And like, I want you to start there. What do you want your life to look like? And then how do we handle your money in a way that gets you to that place? This is not a place that says, you've got to get out of debt. You've got to keep a budget. And you can only use cash, and you like some rote, physical, strict system. And all of this flexibility, this understanding, this emotional movement with money, it's a journey. And so we created a membership so that you can have ongoing support, which leads us really nicely into how is the Motivated Mama Society different? How is it different than buying that course you've bought in the past, or buying that budget app, or buying that planner? How does it actually look different? Because the last thing I ever want to do is sell you something that does not have massive ROI. We price everything in the entire Smart Money Mamas business so that if you use it even like marginally, you should get massive ROI. And so why is this different? The first is, we take a holistic view of money. You guys have heard me talking about this already. Like, how do we fit money into your lifestyle, your personality? How do we factor in mental health and self-care and your career and your passion projects into your money and thriving with money? How do we figure that out all together? Because we can't talk about pieces. If anyone here has heard me talk before about the money hierarchy of needs, which is our altered view of Maslow's, which shows how every step of Maslow's is actually another step of financial freedom. And that if you want to talk about self-actualization and success and passion and being your best self, that assumes some level of financial security. And we can't tell people to chase their dreams and quit jobs that don't serve them and leave relationships that don't serve them when they don't have financial stability, because it's not possible, right? They can do that eventually, but they first have to get financial stability so they can have the mobility and the security and the freedom to make those choices. Okay. So we look at money very, very holistically. The second thing is that this is not a random repository of information. If you've ever joined a membership before, a lot of times they're big information banks and there's tons and tons of good stuff in there, but it can be kind of overwhelming. Like, what do I do? What's my plan? And you get in there and you take a bunch of different like little courses, or you do a bunch of things, and then you're overwhelmed, and then you leave, and you're more confused than when you started. With us, Foundations is a in-depth process that you get to go through. And in those steps, we tie the masterclasses. We tell you what step of Foundations those masterclasses are related to. So if you want to go deeper on something, or you're in a certain step and you're trying to grow, or, our December masterclass was creating habits that stick. That was actually a really popular one, obviously, with the end of the year, thinking about why don't we ever get habits to stick? Why doesn't this work? And how do we do it differently? And so we tie it all together. We're giving you, I was talking to a business friend of mine who said, like, you're not giving them a forest of trees, you're giving them a yellow brick road. And she had gone through Foundations, and she was like, that's my thought. And so we're giving you that yellow brick road. It's different that way. But the biggest difference, and you're going to see this when the mamas from the team get on the call, you're going to see this throughout this live. We're live every day this week at 8:30. Or I'm letting the team off the hook after tonight, but every night this week at 8:30, you have access to me. This is not you buy this thing and then you're on your own trying to struggle and figure it out, right? Sarah says the overwhelm always immobilizes me, and you're not alone in that. Our lives are so busy. We have so many things that we're trying to do, and we often aren't clear and quiet with ourselves about, like, what do we really want? We've kind of gotten stuck in all the things we think we're supposed to do, and then we're trying to jam in the things that we kind of want to do, and it just gets overwhelming. And so in the society, you have ongoing access to me. We have a private Facebook group just for society members, and I am in there every single day answering questions, figuring things out, and that can give you, if you're ever feeling stuck, you can post. And the best thing is that it's not only me who responds. It's all of the other women in the society who've been where you are, who have their own view of what their unique version of success and thriving is that they're working towards. And they can be supportive. They can offer advice. They can be there. It is like having the mama tribe that we all need to really grow and succeed. And so that's how it's different. Why do you join the society? I really want to bring the team on. So I'm going to wrap through this and then we'll talk about it with the team, which is totally, I should be telling you more about why you should join the society, but we're going to go fast. Seeing if there's any comments. Dana says, shame to say, I only finally started foundations today. Dana's an existing member, and that's okay, right? Like coming in, Dana's been in the group and she's attended some master classes and she's now ready to start foundations. This is a do it at your own pace thing. Find the first step that makes the most sense to you. And I think that I want to take a step back for a second. And I think when we start to talk about dreaming, and what do you really strip away all the things that you're supposed to do? Strip away all the things that you think that your parents wanted you to do and your neighbor wants you to do and that you're going to get judged if you don't do. And we think about what we want our lives to look like. This gets a little bit scary. It's exciting and it feels good to think about what our lives could look like, but it's also a little big. And so when we can figure out what are the small steps to get us going, and maybe that's committing to watching one video in the foundations course a week. And the videos, we broke them down real small. So they're like 5 to 7 minutes, like one video a week. Or maybe it's watching a masterclass that just looks really interesting for you right now. Whatever it is to get the ball rolling. Consistency is the name of the game. So Dana, I hope you love foundations, and I can't wait to support you as you go through this. As Sarah said, absolutely no shame. You started today, and that's amazing. Exactly. Okay, so why join the society? This is the season of habits and goal setting, right? This is New Year's. We've got all the motivation in the world. We're like, we're going to do this. This is going to be the year where we're going to lose the weight and budget and get out of debt and do all the things. And then, like the third week of January comes, or like Tuesday. I don't know, next Tuesday. And we're tired. And that motivation that we had around New Year's kind of floats away. And we wonder what happened? We had all this energy, all this momentum. We did it for a couple of weeks. Why didn't it work? And there's a lot of reasons for that. We could talk about not being clear, not aligning those goals with what we actually want, and instead just making our New Year's resolutions a to-do list of things we think we're supposed to do. We could talk about the fact that we don't actually think about mindset when we set these goals. We reach for what we think we want without realizing that maybe we don't feel worthy of that life right now. Maybe we don't feel worthy of that health and that time for ourselves and that self-care right now. And we self-sabotage and we go back to old habits. And maybe you just don't have the environment around you to make those habits stick. And so we talk about why you join the society today. You can get those things. You can get the systems and the small steps to make lasting, impactful change. You can have a supportive accountability community that actually makes you come back and ask, how am I doing on my goals? How am I doing with self-care this week? We actually do every day in the Motivated Mama Society, we put up a post that has different discussion questions. And on Saturdays, it's actually Self-Care Saturday. So at 7:00 in the morning on Saturday, I post and I say, what are you doing for yourself this weekend? I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I don't care if it's 6 hours. That would be amazing. But post something you're doing for yourselves, because mama, you're a whole person and you deserve rest. And I think we're so used to putting everybody else first that falls down the totem pole. And so we're talking about thriving in general here. So if you join now, you can help figure out, what is the relationship you want with money? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want to feel? And then what does it mean that your money needs to do for you? That's the kind of work that we do in the society. And actually, last week we did a free training. We had over 2,300 women go through this free training called Thriving Financial New Year. And their first task, their first day, was to answer the question, what is your money word of the year? What is the money emotion you are trying to cultivate all year this year? Create your center guiding light with this money word of the year. And it was incredible to see the words that came up. We had worthy and prosperous and safe and calm and learning and hopeful and respect and whole and stability. I'm showing we got a whole word cloud here. We made this beautiful word cloud of everybody's answers. And so if you were in that training last week, your word is somewhere on this word cloud. If you weren't, I'm going to start bringing the team on because I want to hear their word clouds. But I want you to tell me first, start posting in the comments, what was your money word of the year? What do you want at the end of 2021? I want you to envision yourself New Year's Eve, 2021. How do you want to feel about your money when it comes to the end of that year? And I'll tell you, my word is worthy. And when it comes to that word, I've long struggled with associating net worth with self-worth, which is what I call it, of like feeling like my bank account had to be big to be worthy of rest, to be worthy of nice things and worthy of all of this, any kind of peace. And so my word this year is worthy, both in how we grow the business, how we treat our budget, how I prioritize my own self-care, my own health. And so worthy is my word. We've got obtainable, intentional, free, success. These are beautiful value. Andrea said, where's the word cloud? We sent it out last week, Andrea, but we will post it in the society Facebook group as well, so everybody can catch up. So let's bring everybody on. I'm missing Lauren at the moment, so we're going to start with Kate. Oh, there's Lauren. Okay, here we go. Lauren, how are you? I can't hear you.
I'm muted. How's it going?
Lady?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now I can.
That's before we go live. How are you? What is your money word of the year?
My money word of the year is steady. My overall word of the year is simple. Ooh. So all I want is to simplify everything so that I can steadily take tiny, tiny, tiny steps. Those of you that have been around for a while know I'm generally a money disaster. So I just want to take small steps towards my goals.
Steady is a good word. All right, let's bring Kate on. We're going to have you all tell them what you do, but let's bring Kate on. Kate, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's your money word of the year?
Whole, with a W, not an H.
We don't want any holes in our money.
No.
It's a good word. All right, let's bring Sarah on. Sarah, how are you?
Hey.
I can't get a different layout here. Why is this layout so funky? Oh, there we go. Okay. What's your money word of the year, Sarah?
My money word is capable. I'm capable of earning all the money I'll need, learning all the skills I need to learn. Capable.
Awesome.
You can do it.
She can absolutely do it. Let's bring Deanna on. What's going to happen with our layout here? Ooh, I kind of like this. Deanna, how are you?
I'm so good.
What is your money word of the year?
My money word of the year is unlock.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Because I feel like there's a lot there to unlock in terms of mindset and potential that is just untapped. So
absolutely. Oh, so many good words. We've got relieved in the comments here, empowered, freedom. Oh, generous. Ooh, generous is a good one. Generous is one of those ones where we really start to get into abundance mindset and believing that we have enough to give to other people this is a really beautiful word, Lisa. I'm so glad. But let's have everybody. This is a community environment, right? We know that from the summit. We know that from absolutely in the society, and everyone on the team interacts with people in the society all the time. And so let's make sure that everybody knows you guys. And let's start with Lauren. You want to tell us what you do at Smart Money Mamas?
I am the Chief Glitter Officer.
I'm so glad this name has stuck.
No lie. Okay. A little, these are on my desk. No, for real. I am the integrator at Smart Money Mamas. I do a lot of big picture planning with Chelsea, goal setting, try to reel her in when she goes rogue, but honestly, I kind of like that sometimes. And I do a lot of our design work on printables and stuff.
So if you guys saw like our beautiful Instagram story today, or when you get into the Motivated Mama Society and you see our incredible power sheets, so we call our worksheets power sheets because we want you to feel empowered when you finish them and feel like you have action steps to take. So we call them power sheets. Lauren designs all of those for us, which is beautiful. So you guys will get to know her well. Let's go to Sarah. You want to tell us what you do at Smart Money Mamas?
Hi, I am a virtual assistant, so I assist with anything. Mostly I help out with emails. So if you guys email us, it's either going to be me or Chelsea, usually, who will respond and help you out with whatever's going on. So that's what I do.
And mentioning me going rogue, if I'm responding to your email, I've gone rogue. You should hear from Sarah. And then otherwise you'll hear from me like in the Facebook group or live. I'm not supposed to be an email, but I am anyway. So Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate. I manage the society, basically, the Facebook group, and I help out with social media stuff as well. But you will mostly see me in Facebook, in the society, answering questions, giving links, helping out with things, or sending questions that I don't know how to answer to Chelsea.
Tagging me in things. Also, if you set some kind of goal or some kind of target, Kate will likely be the one that comments a week later and is like, hey, how's that going? Be prepared for that. And Deanna, who is swagged out. I love how Deanna and Sarah are wearing their swag tonight.
Deanna, I almost wore that sweatshirt, so I'm glad we...
Mine's over here.
Could have been twinning. I help support the podcast and make that happen. So kind of the post-production side of things. So getting the show notes on the website, getting the audio up to our hosts, and changing out the graphics and getting those to all the places, and then following up with the guests. So
she is the reason the podcast gets published. So if you enjoy listening to the podcast on Thursdays, Deanna is who you have to thank for that. She takes the audio that we send and then turns it into actual podcast episodes, which is fantastic. So we have everybody on today for a couple of reasons. One, we have a lot of amazing testimonials we could share from the last 6 months in the society. Women who have done incredible things, from paying off debt to earning thousands of dollars to creating their estate plans and talking to their partners about money. And we will share those stories throughout this week. But what's important to recognize is that we've gotten some questions from people that's really funny, that goes on two ends of the spectrum. We get the question of, I don't even have a budget and I don't even have goals and I don't feel all that motivated. Like, am I right for the Motivated Mama Society? And then we get the questions of, and Kate is nodding yes, which is true. I'm going to answer both of these questions as well. But the other range of the question is, I've been reading about money for a while. I've been in this space for a while. Is this too basic for me? Which is always interesting when we get both sides. And so what I can tell you is, on the beginner side, yes, so much of what we do is helping you center in on your mindset, why you can't get focused on goals, why you don't feel like you have, a real direction, where you're kind of pathless right now. And so going through, especially the first 3 courses in Foundations, is going to help you center. For the people who are more advanced, this is a journey. And if you're on top of everything, if you have a system that works for you, if you're building wealth, if you have people around you that support you, you're on your way to an esteemed job, which is a job that serves you, makes you feel whole, appreciates you. Amazing. Maybe you don't need the society, maybe not. But I'm willing to bet you would not be watching this if you checked all those boxes in the money stuff. And as we advance anywhere in our journey, new things come up. And so I've talked about this in the podcast before, where some of my old money stories about that self-worth net worth thing that I was talking about before came up strongly when I left my job in a really big way. And what happened was, I went from getting paid mid-6 figures to 0 overnight because I went to become an entrepreneur starting from scratch. I don't recommend this system, but it's what I did. And that made me have to come aware that even though we were financially secure and financially stable, what did esteem mean for me? What did love and belonging mean to me? Which are steps 3 and 4 in the money hierarchy of needs. And so then I had to do another level of money work. And so what I want to do is every member of the team, have them share a little bit of their money story or something that they've learned since working with us. We have Sarah and Kate were actually followers and community members before they started working with us. Lauren and Deanna weren't, but they have been drinking through a fire hose of money knowledge since they started. But for a reason that's going to become very quickly apparent, I want to start with Kate. Kate, tell us a little bit about your history with Smart Money Mamas and your money story.
So if you haven't heard the origin of Smart Money Mamas, Chelsea will talk about how she started in this first-time mom group and was helping people answer their money questions and all of those things. And that is where I met her. So her older son and my twins were born in the same month, and we've known each other since pregnancy. And when she decided to actually start Smart Money Mamas and start doing the work, she started her blog. I was there when they picked the name, which was not Smart Money Mamas.
We didn't do a great job on branding that one, but we switched it around. It was fine.
Yeah, better. So I've been around since the beginning. And when she first started her blog, I decided I needed to get out of debt and was living on a fixed income and a single mom of twins who couldn't work due to medical issues. And I paid off a few $1,000s in debt, which was 45% of my annual income at that point, in a few months. It was great.
I'm still amazed by that.
I have not paid everything off every month ever since. Everything's been paid off, which is great. So that's kind of my money story.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So Kate, you've been debt-free for over 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 4.
Almost 4. Yes. So, and now, like, one of the beautiful things about Kate's story for me is that she's been there from the beginning, and her girls are the same age as Henry, my oldest son. And watching Kate now teach her girls about money, she sends us pictures of your give, save, spend jars. It's just amazing to watch that family story happen too. I'm so excited for them.
Also, we played 20 questions in the car the other day, and the girls had figured out it was a strong woman who most people know, but we have not met in person. And they were like, it has to be Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea. It was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but it's close enough.
Close enough. I love their assumption that most people know me. That's a real level up that I've taken.
They assume that anyone who's a mama knows Chelsea.
Hey, that's goals. That's goals. All right, Lauren, you want to share something?
I mean, not really. So, I did not have a lot of good money examples growing up, and everything was very down to the wire, like bad decisions, robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. And it caused a lot of anxiety for me. It still does, but that anxiety became the norm. And actually, when I started working for Chelsea, I was not yet a mom. I did not even think that was possible. So I had not gone down this thought path of one day I'm going to need to like actually pass on like these good habits that I don't have to someone else. And as soon as that happened, I was very grateful that I worked for her, because it had been like slowly, absorbing. And I immediately wanted to be better at everything myself so that then I could teach my daughter how to do things where she would not experience like this heavy anxiety that I've always felt about it.
So guys, Lauren was the first person to work with me on Smart Money Mama. So she's been here for a long time as well. And the funny part is it must have been something about working for a company with mamas in it. Because it was like 2 months later, you were like, I'm pregnant. Really only mamas are
only.
Sarah?
So growing up, I actually had really good money examples with my parents. They always paid off credit cards in full. They bought their cars in cash, saved money. my mom used coupons and cooked dinner at home. So I had good examples. But then when I graduated college, graduated my master's, became a real adult, I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do these things, but how do I do it? Like, how much do you save? Like, how does this actually happen? So I was reading all the finance books and reading all the blogs online, and eventually came and found Smart Money Mamas. And
How did you find us?
I think I did hear you on the Choose Fi podcast when you were talking about your family emergency binder. Yep. And then Liz Thames from Frugal Woods posted about your first Mamas Talk Money Summit in 2019. And so I joined that summit. So awesome. And I've been here ever since. So
fantastic.
And then, so I've kind of had a good background, but then learning how to implement that in real life. And now I'm a first-time mom. My son will turn 1 next month. And so earlier this year, I went part-time at my job. And so just having the foundation to be able to do that, and now navigating what that means for our finances now, and teaching him, these lessons and those types of things. That's where we are now.
Yeah. Awesome. Deanna?
Okay, just fair warning, bedtime is happening literally on the other side of this wall. So, and it's
we
only
all understand.
7:00 here in Phoenix. So it's going down. Yeah, so my money story, growing up, I actually grew up in a really affluent home. And my husband and I started out as teachers. So you know how that story went down. And I was always encouraged, like, follow your passion. And I did. And it was amazing, but I just knew I couldn't be a really good mom and a really good teacher at the same time. And so I decided I wanted to be a really good mom first. And that opened up the world of freelancing. And I really didn't think that was possible. I thought I'd just take a stab at it. And then it happened. And like, there's so many possibilities, and I didn't think it was a thing. And so this is kind of like unlocked all this stuff. But at the same time, I've got this running commentary in the back of like all these things you're supposed to have if you're an adult, and all these things that like define success. And I'm realizing just how much, success, how much I've been chasing all these things that my parents care about, that all these other people care about, that I'm like, they don't even align with my values. And I'm like desperate to make sure that they're in my Amazon cart, or whatever it is. But I'm not really happy. So what is it that makes me happy? And my husband and I are taking the time to figure out what that is and put a number on that, and then go. So yeah,
absolutely. So Sue just mentioned in the comments that Liz Thames is our book club book for February within the Motivated Mama Society. So we're all reading that book right now. If you guys have not read Frugal Woods' book, it is amazing. She's a beautiful writer.
I just finished it last night.
So good, right?
So good. Seriously. I had not read a book in like 3 years, and I was like, this is the year. And I did it like 3 days, people.
Okay, I have 2 things from the society I have to share, because first, it's what you just said. I haven't read a book in 3 years. And we had a member recently send us an email talking about how she feels like she's a better mom and a better partner since she's been in the society, and actually wrote in her email, like, I'm reading again. Like, I love reading, and I have not made time for reading in so long. And like, I'm reading again, starting just with what she wanted to come to book club, and then reading more books that she loves. And like, I love books, so that just made me so happy. But also, like, this comes back to the holistic view of money and of your life and creating more space. The second thing I was going to say was, somebody today, actually just today in the society, posted a question asking about the first course in Foundations, which is our Thriving Mindset course. And they asked, there's a section right at the beginning that asks you to list your core values. And she posted it. She's like, is this supposed to be my money values or my life values? And Kate got to the answer first, so she did a great job, Kate. But the answer is, there's no difference. those have to be the same thing, and trying to make them different is what makes money way harder than it has to be. If you're trying to live by two separate core values, of course you're going to have conflict. Of course it's going to be stressful. And so you have to work, and this we teach you how to do this in the society. Take your life values and build them into your budget. Build them into your investing plan and your money plan, and then it's much smoother. Then you're making decisions that completely align with who you are and what you want your family to be, and not trying to shove, some other system in there, from somebody else's system in there. So I want to open up. If anyone has questions for anyone on the team, questions for me about the society, post them. Questions about people's money stories, or even just advice on your own journey, we're happy to answer. I'm trying to think of what other question I was going to ask you. Well, guys, we waited for questions to come in, and I totally just lost my train of thought. What's everybody's
Deanna?
What?
Deanna, I need you to read Untamed.
Okay. I know that's
You need to.
Yes, I do.
Another book.
Yes.
Yes.
Untamed is fantastic. I gifted it to a friend last week, and Meet the Frugal Woods is Liz Thames' title. Labemer, your YouTube name. Meet the Frugal Woods by Liz Thames, or Untamed by Glennon Doyle is the other one we were talking about. But I gifted that book to a friend last week, and she's been texting me things from the book. It's just really funny. What is everybody's favorite part of the society? Women that are on here.
I really like seeing everybody support each other. Like, people who have never met, who don't know each other, just come on and be like, how are you doing with getting out of debt? How are you doing with that car payment? Have you figured this out? What can I do to help you? And these people don't know each other. And they're coming in and checking on each other and sending each other messages and supporting each other. And it's just incredible. And I've never seen anything catty.
Oh, no.
I think this is the only Facebook group I've ever been in where I've never seen anything catty.
Everybody knock on wood. No, I totally agree. I was actually saying that to my husband last night. So we had a Zoom party last night in the society. I love doing them. They're fun. Like, just kind of, we do breakout rooms and people get to kind of chat, and we do trivia nights or whatever. But we did one last night. And at the end, I love to do giveaways. Anyone who's ever come to the summit knows I love to do giveaways. And so we were doing giveaways, and the name roll goes, and as soon as it popped up, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Liz!" Or like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "You guys all met like an hour ago." But it's such an incredible thing to see that support. I totally agree, Kate. That's an awesome part.
I would tag on I've been so impressed by the vulnerability of people, because I think that's exactly why there's so much shame around money. And if someone just says, I feel like I'm doing a horrible job of this, and I'm so ashamed, just to put it out there, like, it dispels it, and then you can start pushing through. That's
like a Brene Brown quote, I think, like, shame thrives on darkness. And you bring it into the light.
That Me Too culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah or Lauren?
Yeah, definitely the support and the accountability. I know that's something that I definitely struggle with. Like, I can have my whole list of, I'm going to do this and this, and 3 weeks go by. Oh, well, I never made it. It doesn't matter. But if I'm posting it and your mamas are keeping me accountable, and, hey, how are you doing with this? How's this goal? How far have you gotten here? Where are you in your journey? Stop being a slacker. You get that good accountability.
We don't do a lot of like tough love in the community in general. It's there, but no one will stop.
In a super supportive way, though. And I feel like, just for me too, if I'm like, for the big three that we do every Monday, of like, kind of, what are your top 3 big goals for this week? If I'm going to post them, I really think about them, because I'm posting it here. And I know Chelsea, you or other mamas are going to follow up and say, hey, did you do these 3 things this week? So I know if it's going to be out there, that makes me feel like I definitely need to achieve it.
Absolutely. We've actually had that feedback from people that like they've posted in the Facebook group or they've emailed us and said like, I now think about my big 3 Sunday night because I know I'm going to post them on Monday. And it really comes into the week with so much more intention and purpose when you do that and when you have it, when you're sharing it with other people. Lauren?
Okay, I have two. One.
Just one, Lauren. Just one.
So one is that even though I was part of creating it, I did not realize how like big and in-depth Foundations is until I started creating the worksheet. It's not like I hadn't talked about it and read the outline, but when we started actually breaking it down to like, okay, like what are the things that people are going to pull out of this to be able to actually take action on this right away? Like I was kind of astounded at how much is in there. Like I was like, wow, I have a lot of work to do, a lot. And then the second thing is, it's not that it's just a supportive environment. It is so like positive and exciting. You guys have no idea. We asked some of our founding mamas like if they wanted to come, if they wanted to like say hello and like send us a little video message for new mamas that were joining. And we were like, nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to do this. And in like minutes, I swear, Chelsea's like, all right, I have a ton and I'm cutting it together. Like it's done. And it's so cute. Like,
Yes, when you join, you'll get sent to a little welcome page for the video and you'll get to see a bunch of the members, which is super, super fun. But we have a question here from Michelle, which is how do people pay off debt so quickly? I try hard to not be in debt. I have an emergency fund, but beyond that is hard. And so the first, I want everybody to chime in if you have thoughts, but I think the first thing I want to mention is that we get caught in the comparison game a lot with money, especially with the number of like big headline stories. Like CNBC loves to post the like paid off $350,000 of debt on one middle class income. And you're like, well, mathematically, they can't have done that. Like something else had to happen. If they're really only making $55,000 a year, they can't pay off $350,000 of debt. But I think it's deciding what your pace is and what your priority is, Michelle, and figuring out if there's levers you want to pull. So the 5th course in Foundations is called Build Wealth. And we talk about the 3 ways of building wealth because there's really 3 core ways, which is keep more of your money, make more money, or make your money work for you, which would be like investing. And we talk about the different things that happen in there. And so once you have your plan, once you've gone through the other parts of Foundations and really gotten clear on where you stand and what your goals are and what your systems are, then you can say, okay, what levers do I have options with? And if you really don't have a lot of space to pay off debt in the way you want to, then you can look at your life and say like, hey, do I want a side hustle for 5 hours a week? Do I want to cut this expense in the short term or sell some things around my home to speed up my journey because speeding up my journey is way more aligned with my core values than continuing to live the way I'm living right now. And so you can figure it out. But I think that like going through and looking at your unique situation and your unique goals and keeping that as your guiding light and not what everybody else is doing is really, really helpful. Thoughts,
and I think
ladies?
it's something that's unique in the society too. When you're talking, Chelsea, about comparison is, we rarely at all ever see, oh, I did this and this is the right way to do it. But if you bring up your story, and I think they're right, there's a lot of vulnerability here with different people's stories. Other mamas will come in and say, hey, this is what happened with me. And maybe part of my story can help you, or maybe this could help you in addition to having that Foundations course too, all of that together. I think it's a different perspectives of how you can reach your own goals.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of different ideas and picking little pieces of each one. So for me, it's really helpful to see people saying like, oh, hey, I tried this and this worked for me, or, this is how I budget and that works really well, or that kind of thing. I feel like I wouldn't know these things if I didn't have different people who have tried different things telling me like, yeah, that didn't work for me at all, but this worked great, or I have this in common with you and this works for me, which is pretty much how the society will give you ideas. It's hey, this worked for me. You can try it. If you want more advice on it, I can give it to you. But
And I think I think that's actually one of the rules in the Facebook group when you join the Facebook group is like start your comments with "in my experience" or "in my opinion" and not "you should do this," because there's not one right way to do money, and you can learn a lot from other people's experiences, but you have to find your own system. Lauren, were you going to say something? No. Okay. All right, guys. So we have a couple more things here, but I forgot to mention, somehow we've been live for 50 minutes, and I completely forgot to mention that we're doing a giveaway right at the end of this live. Guys, nobody reminded me about the giveaway. All right. So we're going to be giving away a one-on-one onboarding call with me for a new member of the society. And so this will be a 30-minute call. You can come in, tell me about your story, why you joined. I can direct you on kind of where to start, what to work on, and really help you create a plan that's ready to go. So we're going to give away one of these tonight. We're going to give away one every night of this week. And so it will be pulled from everyone who's joined so far during the launch. And so join now, make money gun. I think George emptied the money gun.
Again.
George stole the money in the money gun, so it's not gonna happen.
Do the button.
The buzzer.
This is also a thing. I bought this off Amazon because it seemed fun at the time. I hear this sound 57 times a day because the boys know where it is, and they're just like ching, ching, ching. It's very annoying. Anyway, so we're gonna be giving one of those calls at the end. So make sure you join now. We'll put everybody's name in the spinner before we start, even if you go join now, and then you'll be entered for the rest of the week. So make sure you do that. But first off, mamas, thank you for joining us and coming and introducing yourself. It was so good to see you all. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. So I want to come back to you guys for a second and really encourage you to join the society and tell you a little bit of a story. And so during the Mamas Talk Money Summit, and some of you who did the Thriving Mindset training, Thriving Financial New Year training last week heard this. But during the summit last year, we did a questionnaire about money mindset, and it went out to over 500 women, which was really amazing. Or we got responses from over 500 women. And one of the questions in there was, what is your biggest money mindset struggle? And in November, I think it was November, I was up visiting Lauren in Maine. Somehow the fact that we live 6 hours apart does not impact the fact that we're in each other's COVID bubbles, which is because neither of us see any people. And so we're just each other's COVID bubbles. But anyway, that's not relevant to the story. I pulled up the spreadsheet from all these answers, these 500 answers to this question. And I said to Lauren, I really want to understand where our people are kind of feeling stuck and struggling. And I think the best way to process it, I'm a verbal processor. And I'm like, let's read out every answer. And so we sat there on the couch for an hour and a half, and we read every single answer out loud. And it was heartbreaking in the deepest way, like actual tears in my eyes, and actual kind of tears in my eyes right now, of over and over and over again. I'm not worthy of wealth. I'm not capable of handling wealth. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of success. I'm not worthy of rest. I'm not. The number of answers, and we're talking about over half of the 500 answers, were some form of I don't feel worthy. And we could go back to Untamed and Glennon Doyle. We can talk about societal impacts on women and especially on moms that encourage us to put ourselves last, to quiet our own voices. We can talk about all the reasons we feel this way. But I don't want a single mom out there to feel that way, to feel like they're not worthy of wealth, they're not capable of wealth. That life that you dream about quietly, the what if this could be more? What if this could be different? I want you to help you turn that into a reality, to turn that into a real thing. And even if it's a journey that takes you years, and I know some of you have big dreams and it's not going to happen overnight, but even if it takes you a long time, you're going to start to feel the benefits of living in that worthiness, of owning your space, of really starting to lean in to the habits that you need to turn into the habits that you need to be living true to yourself. And so that is what the society is really all about, is helping you feel capable and worthy of handling your money in a way that aligns with your values and aligns with yourself. And so if this is the year, if you went through last year, which was a dumpster fire for many of us, and really just noticed the things in your life that you wanted to be different, right? Even if it was an okay year. I feel like 2020 was a place for us to all kind of reflect on the things we assumed were just normal or expected, and like, what do we want to do differently when we come out of this? If you came into 2021 and said, I want this to be the year. I want this to be the year that I thrive, that I live in my true self, that I afford the things, more of the things I love, that I have less stress and more rest. How many of us ended 2020 exhausted? I want you to end 2020 rested and energized and wealthy. And so, if that is your goal for this year, or these are the things that you thought coming into 2021, and this in your first full year, I want you to go to the Motivated Mama Society website. You can go to motivatedmamasociety.com and join. It's $29 a month. You can also join for $290 for the whole year. So you get 2 months free when you do it that way. You can cancel anytime. So you can come, try it out, see the community, see if it's a fit for you. But I think that once you're inside, you're going to see that this was a missing piece, that having this support in this community, having this guidance, but not a prescription, right? Not a like do this exact thing, but really more of a Sherpa on finding your own path and finding what brings you joy and peace and helps you turn around and teach your kids about money the way that you wish you were taught about money. That is what the society is all about. I want this for you. We intentionally priced it in a place where we knew most people would be able to afford it, right? That like, if you wanted to take this investment in yourself, you could do it, right? It's $29 is, the average person walks into Target and spends like $66 at Target. Like this is like one day of skipping impulse spending. And we're going to help you deal with things like impulse spending, things like struggling with meal planning, things like, like having money that you spend without really thinking about it, right? And what that looks like. How do we plan? How do we reduce stress? And that's what the society is all about. You are worthy of wealth. You're capable of managing wealth. You are worthy of that life that you dream about, and I want you to achieve it. And so that's my encouragement. Join the society and come hang out with us. I'm going to tell you one last thing. Because I didn't get to talk about it earlier, and there's still a lot of you on, so we have some focus, and we'll kind of talk about this for one last second. Moms have incredible power. There's been a lot of discussion over the last year about generational wealth and how wealth gets passed on and how wealth grows. And when you look at the statistics about generational wealth, there's absolutely gender and racial disparities around generational wealth, which makes sense because of the centuries of oppression and all the things that have happened. But when you look at how wealth lasts, over 80% of the time, wealth that is passed on through inheritance is gone by the second generation. Most lose it in the first generation. So parent passes it to kid and that money is gone. Moms have this ability to really change their family's money stories, like uniquely positioned to do this. And one of the reasons is when you ask women about what money means to them, majority of the time they think about what money and wealth would mean for their families. Whereas men, alternatively, this is just studies and generalizations, but men in general think about what it can do for themselves. And so when we talk about women and we talk about empowering you and making you feel worthy of money, making you feel like you can teach your kids good lessons, making you aware of the language that you use around money, then you can teach your kids, right? And then they go into the world knowing what to do. They go into the world with a healthy money mindset instead of a scarcity mindset or believing that money is a stressful thing or that people only fight about money. We can change those stories. So that's step one. Step two is that in general, we're going to outlive our partners. So if you're in a heterosexual couple, you are likely to outlive your spouse, in which case at the end of days, you're going to be managing all that wealth you and your partner accumulate. And so why not start learning now about how to build wealth, about how to feel confident about where your money is. And so you can actually maintain that estate and grow it until it's time to pass it down, until it's time to help your kids and grandkids change things. And there's one last piece. Even if you're not in a place where you're thinking about millions of dollars or inheritances or, really investing, you're not even thinking about investing yet. You're trying to get out of debt, right? One of the things to remember is that women control over 90% of consumer spending decisions in an average household, which means when your kids look for how money is spent, your kids look about how financial decisions are made, they're looking at you. They're looking at how you behave in the store. They're looking at how you make decisions. And so if you can get control of that, just like Lauren was saying about the lesson she was passing on to her daughter, and Kate and Sarah and me with the boys who, Hank already has his little first entrepreneurial business. George just got his first savings jars. We can teach our kids better lessons. And so I want that. I want to change. I don't only want to help moms. Part of Smart Money Mamas is not just helping moms, though that is obviously close to my heart. Smart Money Mamas is me looking at a broken financial system, a broken financial education system, and saying, how can we change things? And I look at moms as people who can cause grassroots, massive generational waves of change simply by focusing and working on ourselves and then passing that on to kids and to grandkids and to nieces and nephews. And so I hope you join us again tomorrow night. We will be live every single night. I was going to close down as I'm talking right now because I'm on my little soapbox here, but I forgot to pick a winner. So let's pick a winner for today's onboarding call with me. We're going to put it on the screen here. Here we go. All right. So we're going to hit go and it's going to spin. It's going to tell us who is going to win a call with me for onboarding. Amanda Willis wins a one-on-one call with me. And so guys, if you go right now and you join the Motivated Mama Society, you will be on the list to be entered to win these onboarding calls every night this week. We'll pull a new name every night this week. So you'll be entered to win those calls. Plus, if you join before midnight tomorrow night, you get an extra bonus masterclass called Ending Your Budget Busters, which is all about how to really create your budget as a living thing and how to create the preparation built in to deal with the shocks that happen in life. So you get that as well. Pi says, congratulations, Amanda. Congratulations, Amanda. I'm really excited to talk to you. But this has been lovely. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night, and I can't wait to see you inside the society.